Must have decided about 3 or 4 times this week to change direction in my homily. So I decided to make you work more. Decided to, just to do something that you probably already do. But I think that it's pretty, we don't have to reflect too long in the readings today, especially the gospel in the first reading, to see that one of the major themes is being grateful to God. And of course, Naaman, who gets healed of leprosy, he actually starts to worship the God and praise and thank the God of Israel. So he has a big conversion. The Samaritan as well goes and to the feet of Jesus and thanks him for his being healed of leprosy. We've all been healed of something. And we all have those times, too, of areas of weakness where we need Jesus. We need salvation. We need to be saved or healed from something. So I'm just going to, but what I'm going to ask you to do is maybe for the next minute or so in silence, just to consider from the last week the ways you have been blessed by God. And if sometimes, I'll talk about that afterwards, but just enumerate them in your mind. And then we'll talk about giving thanks and praise to Him for those things. But so 1 minute of silence. I'll keep time. So sometimes in our lives, it's hard to see God's blessing, especially if we're suffering or somebody in our life and is suffering, and out of compassion, we suffer with them. And if that's the case and you maybe couldn't think of anything to be grateful for, or the way God has blessed you in the last week, we can all agree on one thing for sure, and that is that of Jesus' love, and that He died for us and He rescued us from sin and Satan and death, and that the gates of heaven are now open for us. And Jesus did that. He blessed us in the most important way. So we can at least give thanks to Him for that. And it's important to give thanks and be in that and cultivate that habit, be reminded of that habit of gratitude to God and praise to God. Because now I've had to work especially hard at that, because I'm one of those glass half empty kind of guys. And it's important to have people who can be critical, and to be critical of things, especially in how things can be better in our country, in our world, in our lives. But gratitude helps us, despite those things, to look to God and see someone who is always loving us, still active in our lives, and can lift us beyond and to be confident in God's love despite the bad things that happen in life and the things that need to improve in life. It can really, and when I'm attentive to it, it really changes my whole attitude. So it's really important to have that and cultivate that. Remember to thank God for his blessings every day. There's a quote I'll just leave you with. So when you, throughout the Mass, just have those things in mind and try to be intentional about thanking God in the words and in your heart, in your mind, as you pray and as you come to communion. Just being praising and thanking God. There's a difference between, I'll just say one more thing, and then I'll leave you with the quote. There's a difference between worship and praise and thanks. Very slight, they're related, of course. But worship is worshiping God for who he is. Our Creator, our loving Father, all those things. Praise and thanks is praising and thanking him for what he has done for us. So just keep that in mind. And I'll leave you with this quote from Mother Teresa that says, when you look at the cross, when you look at the crucifix, you understand how much Jesus loved you then, way back then, 2,000 years ago. When you look at the sacred host, you understand how much Jesus loves you now. So God is still loving us, and we have much to be grateful for.